With the Blood Angels dropping in for pre-order next weekend, we are beginning to see some snippets about the upcoming rules for a few of their units, and today we got a better look at the updated, arguably for the worse in terms of their looks, Sanguinary Guard. With their new 3 or 6 man unit sizes instead of the old 5 to 10, they have been confirmed to be getting some helpful buffs, not only in the form of a 3rd wound, but also gaining a 4-up invulnerable save with their golden armor. So they will now, assuming GW decides not to completely nerf them by also dropping their armor save, they should hopefully be sitting on toughness 4, 3 wounds, with a 2-up armor save, 4-up Invuln to protect them, which isn't totally awful and means that a minimum size unit now has 9 wounds compared to the 10 wounds they currently have. But when you factor in that new 4-up Invuln, that does actually arguably make them a bit more durable, I think. It essentially makes them Blade Guard veterans with a slightly better armor save. Again, assuming GW doesn't really decide to nerf them by dropping them down to a 3-up, which I really hope they don't do. They don't imply that in the article from today, but let's be honest, you never know with GW. In terms of their melee, we also got to see their Incarmine blades and the new Incarmine spears that they can be outfitted with. The blades are largely the same. They are 4 attacks that hit on 3s, but they are now strength 6 and also -3 AP base with the same 2 damage. So there is a nice little boost there against toughness 3, toughness 5, toughness 6, and also a really big boost against anything with an armor save, thanks to that improved AP. Now, a completely minimum size squad only kills around 4 Marines now instead of 6, thanks to dropping 2 whole men, but on a per model basis, it is a decent improvement, having about an extra 20 or 30% chance of dropping an extra Marine compared to the 4 attacks with the old profile. Obviously, the strength 6 is again a big help into those slightly tougher enemies too, and can actually get them up to strength 8, again, as long as that doesn't change in the codex with your detachment rule, meaning they can be wounding toughness 4 bodies on 2s, which really will with their new -3 AP, just to let them absolutely massacre Marines. Using the same minimum squad size comparison, again, if the Red Thirst stays the same, it has been confirmed in the article, it is the detachment rule for the Liberator Assault Group, so it is still there, but whether it is still the same rule of +2 strength and +1 attack on the charge, we don't know that yet, but I think it is likely to stay the same. And if that is still how it is, the old 5-man squad would kill about 7 Marines on the charge, whilst the new 3-man squad will kill just about the same, doing about 6.9 unsaved wounds, but then you have to consider they will likely be a good bit cheaper compared to the 155 points you pay for 5 of them now, so they can be that much more effective now for their points. You also get the spear, which is a similar profile. It's only got 3 attacks though, and it is only -2 AP, but in exchange it does get lance, so it's got a bonus to wound on the charge. So again, if the Red Thirst stays the same, with the spear you could be looking at 4 attacks at strength 8, -2 AP, 2 damage, and +1 to wound, meaning even against things like Custodes or Terminators, you will be wounding on 2s and 4s against most vehicles and monsters as well, so that gives them a bit of extra utility on top of that. Against something like Custodes Alarus Terminators with their toughness 7 and 4 wounds, a full squad of 6 Sanguinary Guard could expect to do around 6 unsaved wounds on the charge, meaning you would kill off about 3 Alarus Terminators, so they can actually be really quite scary with the spears when they need to be. They do of course still keep their Angelus bolt guns as well for a bit of token shooting. It's nothing super amazing, again assuming nothing changes. It does get you an extra 6 bolter shots or so on a min squad, so nothing great, but could maybe chip off an extra wound here or there when you need it. The final new thing we get shown in the article is also a stratagem for one of the other detachments. Now this other detachment is called the Angelic Host, and this apparently gives you some buffs to your jump pack unit. So whether it's going to be worth using this new one or sticking with the Liberator Assault Group for the Red Thirst, I guess we'll have to see what the actual buff for this detachment is, but the Angelic Host comes with a stratagem which is Death from the Skies. Now this is 1 CP, and it allows you to have a jump pack unit that has advance or fallen back this turn, still shoot and charge. So you can now get into combat really fast with your 12-inch move and then advancing and still charging, or if you've got spears, you can very easily fall back and then recharge to get that bonus to wound from the lance rule again and again and again. Now I will clarify, I still don't like the models, but I hope that these rules do give them some play. They seem to still be a good defensive unit potentially with that buff to their 2-up save and the 4-up Invuln and 3 wounds. And then if they keep their rules with things like Heirs of Askelion and Angelic Visage, they should be really quite durable with a character attached, and they should be quite easy to get up the board and get into combat quite safely. And then again, if they aren't super expensive, I do think they can actually do a decent bit of work into a lot of enemies. To go back to the Inner Circle Companions comparison that I did in the previous video for these guys, they do lose things like the lethal hits from the Calibanite Greatswords, but they gain a pip of AP with the blades, and of course they do have that better mobility thanks to their 12-inch move, and also, as mentioned, hopefully that better save if they do keep that 2-up save and that 4-up Invuln. So I think comparatively, they do stack up quite well against the Inner Circle Companions. I would say if they are around a similar price to them and the Blade Guard Veterans, maybe a tiny bit more expensive if GW makes them pay for that 2-up save, 4-up Invuln, and obviously the 12-inch move, then I do think they will still be very good. And I think if you join them with someone like Dante and give them the spears, for instance, you could in theory be getting them to 2s to hit, 2s to wound against a lot of stuff, and then just plowing through even elite infantry and lighter vehicles really quite easily. I personally think they will be a bit more than Blade Guard or Inner Circle Companions, but I don't think they will be as much as the 155 points you pay now. Maybe 120 points, maybe 40 points per model compared to the 30 points that Blade Guard or Inner Circle Companions pay. I think that does kind of balance out their better mobility and also their 2-up save. And I mean, even when you look at things like the Inner Circle Companions, the Sanguinary Guard swords do actually do slightly more than the strike profile of the Calibanite Greatswords and their lethal hits, thanks to that extra pip of rend into things like Marines. And then whilst the Inner Circle Companions are yet a bit better into the lighter 1 wound chaff, thanks to their sweep profile, I would say the Sanguinary Guard make up for that by being better into tougher elite units and vehicles if you take the spears, especially when you factor in detachment rules. So that is the Sanguinary Guard. They do seem to me to be okay rules-wise. I think they look to be fast, pretty fighty in combat, and definitely a lot more durable now, thanks to that bonus wound and Invuln. So I think if they do stay a reasonable points cost and they keep their good datasheet rules, despite their dubious new models, they could well be a very strong pick for a Blood Angels army to bring. But as always, what do you make of these guys? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me. But until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.